This is Andy Lim, a Singaporean entrepreneur who moved to India 18 years ago to work in electronics manufacturing. Andy shared the most comfortable cities in India for expats, how foreigners can better understand India, and the challenges of dealing with the Indian accent. Special thanks to Elsa Speak for supporting this video. More about it later.
What city in India is the most comfortable for a foreigner? Let's say for an expat or someone from the West.
So there are two states, I think they're relatively quite new. New as in they grew very fast in the last 10-20 years. One is Bangalore and one is Pune, right? So Bangalore, it's located like 1,000 feet across, above sea level. And then Pune is like 180 kilometers away from Mumbai. So very young crowd, very vibrant, very good for IT personnel, and a lot of restaurants and party places. I think that draws foreigners to it also because they like sightseeing, they like a more vibrant city.
The language in the English language, so that's a common language in India. In India, like a lot of people speak English, and this is actually great. Yeah. But you also said like some areas, people like, let's say in the north, less people speak English.
Sure.
Yeah. So what was the biggest challenges for you in terms of the language in India?
Because I stay in Chennai, southern part, even the auto rickshaw drivers or in the market, they can speak a little bit of English. Like the numbers, for sure, they can manage 900, 1,000 example. They can speak English, right? But in the north, I would struggle. I mean, I can count in Hindi from 1 to 10, 20, 30, 40 example.
Yeah, how you do
but I can't say like 900.
Yeah.
Ek to teacher punch up to das, I can manage. But if it's 545, I can't say.
Indian accent for you, easy to understand?
So, I'm more in the south. The North Indian English accent is different. The South Indian English accent is different. But more or less, I find a bit of similarity. That is, they try to like, example, like when you say the word, W-O-R-D, they would end the word with the D. Word.
Yeah.
Word.
Exactly.
So once you're used to that, it's actually a form of clarity. It makes you hear the word better. But if you're from Singapore, you'll be wondering, why are you saying the word? Word. So it's like two words, word. So it'll make you wonder. But as time goes by, you sort of realize that I'm trying to make this word clearer so that you do not misunderstand me for another meaning. So that's okay. But other than that, every now and then we still get a bit of difference in pronunciation. Like example, swimming pool. In Indian English, swimming pool. Pool. So it could be a P-H-O-O-L rather than a P-O-O-L. Right? Same like, in Philippines. Swimming pool. Pool could be a swimming pool. The P gets replaced with the F. Yeah. The F gets replaced with the P. Like Philippines. Yeah. Right? It could be Philippines.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the person that you talk to. More or less, we are quite used to it, so we understand. And of course, we don't laugh like swimming pool. You're a swimming pool, or is this a swimming pool?
Being a non-native English speaker is challenging. This channel might not exist if I hadn't overcome my fears, my accent and grammar worries. And I actually solved most of my English problems with just one app on my phone. I've been using it for more than a year and genuinely want to share it with you. The app is called Elsa Speak. It acts like a personal teacher, but AI can stand with you whenever and wherever you want. It identifies detailed errors in communication and provides instant feedback so users can improve their English, speaking more effectively using the world's top AI technology. With Elsa, you can improve from the basics with provided words, phrases or sentences to an advanced level that allows you to interact or talk freely with AI. You can experience one of the two packages. The Elsa Pro package includes bite-sized lessons on various topics. Follow your personal learning plan and get instant feedback on pronunciation with colors. Green, correct, red, wrong, orange, almost correct. And also score the intonation and fluency in conversation lessons. For more advanced goals, try the Elsa Premium package, which includes Elsa Pro and a lot more powerful tools. The most notable one is Elsa AI.
Hi, Welcome to Elsa AI.
which allows role-play conversations on any topic and scenarios using generative AI and provides detailed feedback on how to improve your English.
Today, you have an interview for a new job.
Hello, it's great to meet you.
Hi, very nice to meet you too.
Shall we get started with the interview?
Of course, looking forward to it.
Roleplay completed. Well done.
This is a game changer for me. Another helpful tool is Elsa Speech Analyzer, which corrects long speeches with detailed analysis on all the important skills and predicts the certificate speaking score. Other certificates and English business courses are included in the Elsa Premium as well. I'm really glad that I found such a tool. So start improving your English communication now to achieve your dream goals at work and life. Click the link in description box to get special discounts on Elsa. I hope you'll enjoy it.
What about accents? Did you struggle with Indian accent? First question.
Oh.
And the second question, did they understand you?
Yeah.
I mean, like with a Singaporean kind
Yeah.
of accent?
Yeah.
Your accent is not heavy,
Yeah.
like some like Singaporeans, but still
Yeah.
there is a different
Yeah.
accent, completely
Yeah.
different, like
Yeah.
Singaporean accent, Indian accent.
Sure. Singapore English is very much mixed with the Mandarin way of speaking. Example, when we ask somebody a question, we tend to say the shortcut way. Like when we say, can this thing be doable? Are you able to do this? A Singaporean would substitute it with can or cannot.
Yeah,
Can or not.
yeah, of course.
So
Yeah.
when a foreigner hears the word can or not, he's like struggling.
in the beginning, it's very confusing.
Yeah. But they don't know the G's behind it. It's actually Mandarin said in the English way. Like in Mandarin, it's 可以吗? Can or not. So we converted Mandarin to English. We used like a long sentence and then put it into short. So for sure they can't understand. So you have to be very pinpoint in your wording as well. I'm still struggling it today as well. If I say it in Singaporean slang, then automatically the lady will be like, what's this guy trying to say? Yeah, and then she'll be like, okay, but actually it's not okay. Okay, sir.
Okay, so
Yeah, okay, sir, but actually it's not okay. To cut short time, be clear in your instruction. Be like as though you're like typing a sentence. I mean, you cannot say can or not when you're typing an English sentence, right? So try to be as precise as possible, as though that you are typing out a sentence, and don't use difficult vocabulary. Try to keep it simple. If not, then they can't understand. Yeah. So keep it simple, keep it short and straight to the point.
I wanted to talk about like the diversity of Indians in India itself.
Yeah.
Like many people actually write in the comments that, oh man, like Mumbai is not India, because I did a lot of interviews in Mumbai. Mumbai is not India, like go south, go north.
Yeah.
It's like we are very, very different. But
Yeah.
okay, for the typical, let's say, Westerner who never been to India, that's kind of,
Yeah.
India is like the same.
It's like one.
They have no idea, this
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
I think it's actually similar to Indians, like they don't know, like Europeans. Is it Italian, Spanish? Kind of no
it's
difference.
Very different. Yeah.
Is it like you think it's a really huge difference, like North
yeah,
Indian,
yeah.
South Indian?
Yeah, big difference. So example, like let's just say about Delhi. There's a region in Delhi that's called NCR.
Okay.
It's made up of like UP, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, Gurgaon. It belongs to a state called Haryana. So that's all on the northern side.
Yeah.
And then there's also Northeast, right? Northeast comprises of like 7 or 8 states. There are people that look like us, Oriental, but they are also called Indians, right? And then the West, which is your Gujarat and your Mumbai. And then the Northwest, which is the Jammu and Kashmir, nearer to Pakistan, right? And then there's the South, which we talked about quite a bit, the Karnataka, the Kerala, the Tamil Nadu, and the Orissa. So all these have different language and different culture. So if you really break it up, there are 28 states now, right? So 28 main languages. But if you really want to break it up, there's like 200 over languages and dialects. But a lot of people know India as Hindi, Hindu, but it's not, right? There's still like 10-15% of Muslims, another 5 to 10% of Catholic, I guess. So very diversified. But to a Westerner, India is India, but when you end up in Mumbai and when you end up in Bangalore, Chennai or Cochin, all has different culture. very different, right? Mumbai is more rush, more pacey. The scenario where you rush to the train that most people show in YouTube or online, that may not happen in some other cities. It's just because Mumbai is it's a financial capital. So a lot of people rush to work 1 hour, 2 hours of ride every day, but doesn't mean that it applies to other cities.
Where do you personally feel more comfortable? Like which region?
In South.
In South?
In South, yeah.
Why?
I think number one, we can anticipate the people over there. The Singapore Indians, right, the Tamilians, they also come from the south. They are very closely related to South India as well. So as you may know that Tamil is like our fourth language in Singapore. Chennai, being in Tamil Nadu, they speak Tamil as well. So I think in a way there's some link between that. So it makes a Singaporean feel a bit more like home. I struggled in North.
Is it?
I struggled in North, right? I think I went in 2013, my first time, to Noida. So that time, in the same year, they had the bird flu, the swine flu.
Everything.
Yeah, I think there was MERS or some SARS virus going on at the same time. So to me, that was a big challenge. In South, I experienced more extreme heat. Right, but in North, I experienced like different kinds of stuff, and it was, for me, very difficult. The rush, the people, the language, no English. Like general worker, very less English. I struggled like crazy. But South, I could more like anticipate that kind of difference because we grew up with Tamil people here, right?
Yeah.
So Tamil in India and a Tamil in Singapore, I could find some closeness to it, right? But if you talk about North India, like Uttar Pradesh, they are a super big state. A typical Singaporean or Malaysian wouldn't have experienced that kind of culture before. And therefore, I think after some time, we closed down the office in Noida because we were not so comfortable.
Do actually Indians move inside India a lot, like move from place to place?
Sure.
Like in the US, like, people migrate inside the country, like, I don't know the statistics, like several times in a lifetime, in their life.
Yeah.
In India, people like travel, not travel, but move inside India.
If you go to a second tier or third tier city, there aren't many job opportunities. And of course, the first tier cities, that's where the MNCs, they come in, the big banks, they come in, the big IT firms, they come in. That's where you get a higher career advancement. A higher salary as well. And that may even earn you a route to maybe the Western world, maybe to US or Singapore, Hong Kong, Canada. Within the country, for sure, they would have to carry out cross-migration, right? Because they don't get much opportunity in a third-tier city. So example like Chennai, people who come from like Danjawur, they come from places like Vellore, which is like 150 kilometers away, and then they settle in Chennai. They are all Tamils, but doesn't mean that Chennai is their hometown.
Yeah.
So Chennai forms like maybe 5% of the entire Tamil Nadu. The population is big, but the land size is super small. So in order to get a good job, they move to Chennai first before they move abroad. Domestic immigration is super common.
You said people earn their way to move like abroad.
Yeah.
Do you think what's the notion? Like I see many Indians are super proud.
Yeah.
Like you stay in India, you like improve the economy, like you grow the economy, we do it together. So there are a lot of like patriotism notion.
Yeah.
But still like I think many Indians want to like go to the US, let's say, to work. What's you think nowadays, what's the notion, what's the idea for Indians?
I go to India once a month. Every time I fly back, I see a couple. The husband is from IT, the wife is from banking, example. So I would still think the 1% or the 2% of India population wants to move out. Maybe 5%, I wouldn't know. But this 1% to 5% forms a big number because India is still 1.3 billion people. The middle class who is more patriotic, who doesn't want to move out from the family, may still want to stay in India, like what you said, build India up. But if you compare the salary as of now, Western world is still much higher than what you get in India. In India, no matter how talented you are, unless you're like senior management, VP or MD level, then only the salary is on par to mid-management level in the Western world. If not, right, then there's also the super inflation now, right? If not, if you get an average salary in India, I think it will still be, I wouldn't say struggle. You could be still happy. It's up to you how much you spend, right? But a lot of people would still want to move out to have better opportunity, to have higher career advancement. Because if you stay in India, for the same position, there's like 100 people competing with you to go up, right? And you know competition, right? It drives people crazy.
Yeah.
Competition drives people to react differently. Ideal case to move out, then you're competing with another group of people. You know, in the Western world, it's not so much competitive like compared to China and India.
Yeah.
So maybe it's best of both worlds. You don't need to be so competitive. At the same time, you get a higher salary. Though your expenses would have gone up, but also means that your savings are high. And then you send back, the amount of money that you send back to India, it's equivalent to the amount of salary that you get in India. I think I've spoken to a couple of e-passes in Singapore. The same job in India, not only is the work higher, the salary is lower. So the amount of money that they save makes more sense. Of course, there's a lot of sacrifice. Like, you know, you can't see your loved ones, the festivals, you're not there. But if you make a fast comparison, if you save well in 3 years in Singapore or US, it's equivalent to working maybe 15 years in India.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you build your savings fast.
Yeah.
And then that's en route to maybe a early retirement, buying a couple of property, flipping it in Mumbai, renting it out for a high yield, and then retiring early. I mean, that's what a lot of young people, they are aiming for right now.
Do you invest in real estate in India? Or what do you think about this?
I'm quite pessimistic about the Indian property because we're not talking about the big development, but for general properties, they have to split property value into two portions.
Okay.
One which is cash, the other one which is recognized by the bank valuation. So like 50% of, you know, they call it black, you have to pay by cash. So the remaining 50%, they call it white, but the bank only recognizes, let's say, 70%. So which means you can only loan 70% of the 50%. So that's 35%. So if you add up, you can only borrow 35% from the bank, and then the remaining 65% you have to pay by cash. So I don't want to have so much cash pumping into India. So that's number one. Number two, when we exit, we could be stuck with cash as well. And due to demonetization, you know, having cash in your hand, it's a big problem. So everything's digital now. They call it UPI, so you scan and you pay using your bank account. So cash is like a no-no. So never really invested. But if you are a local Indian, it makes perfect sense, because then you have 50 relatives to help you absorb the large amount of cash. You can like pass it around and let it rotate around the cycle. But for a foreigner, you can't.
If you give an advice to yourself before you first time move to India, like to younger self, what would be your advice? Or like, let's say, advice for people who want to start business in India but don't really know how the things work, like some maybe important advice that they should know before dealing with Indians, say doing business, a career or something?
I think doing business in India is very tough compared to what we practice in Singapore. In Singapore, we practice more documentation. In India, it's a lot to do with trust. You know, you could execute an order or an instruction just based on verbal. And if you don't know the customer well, you could be screwed. You could be screwed big time. So a number one thing when you do business in India, work with somebody that you really trust, and always be mindful of what is the terms and condition and what are the repercussions. However, saying that, I would advise my younger self to go ahead and take more risk. Because if you don't take risks, you never know. I mean, Singapore, talk about entrepreneurship, you know, we are pretty much stuck at certain limitation because we don't dare to take risks, right? We are always following directives, orders, military, what's right, what's wrong. So that sort of like caps us at a certain level. But if you're trying to do business in overseas, let's not just say India, even Africa or Mexico, right? These are places where, you know, black and white documentation is not so strong. So it's up to you to make mindful decision. It's up to you to take some risk. If you don't take risks, nothing will happen. It will never start. You have to take risks. If you're truly moving towards the direction of entrepreneurship, then please take some risks. But however, saying that, just be careful. Careful of the repercussion, careful of the worst case scenario, right? But having said that, you have to try.
Yeah.
Because if you don't try, you don't know.
Yeah, you cannot decide the same way how would you do in Singapore regarding anything. Because here there's the court, it's very strong like legal system, and then everything is on paper,
Sure.
all the contracts, like everything. But there is not like that. So you cannot approach doing business there the same way how would you approach here.
Example, let's just put an example. Let's say if you want to open a restaurant here, it's quite straightforward. You need the fire license, you need the SFA, the Singapore Food Agency license, you got the MOM, the CPF, the GST, so right? The 5 or 6 license.
Yeah.
But in India, you're actually not sure, other than the food license, the labor laws are not super strong.
Yeah.
There's not very clear-cut information how to hire a foreigner. There's also not clear-cut information about, let's say, fire safety. So if you end up waiting for the information to come, you may wait a year.
Yeah.
So you rent the space, you paid for the rent, but your restaurant didn't start. And you end up just waiting. I would say in such places, make sure that you take a bit of risk, go all out to get it done. And if something is there to block you or to deter you, overcome it straight away. Because if you wait, nothing will happen. Yeah, Singapore, if you wait, something still happens. You're in the queue, you're safe. In Singapore, are you in the queue? Okay, you're in the queue, you're safe. But over there, if you're in the queue, good luck, man. The queue goes all the way back, 10 kilometers.
Yeah.
And that's why they're good at jumping queue. Because it's in their daily livelihood. Make sure when you're in the queue, try to jump so that you can reach your target faster. Yeah.
Start improving your English now using the world's top AI technology. Just click the link in description for special discounts on Elsa Speak.